Well, good morning to everyone here in the States and North America. Good evening to everybody from down in Australia and down under and over in Europe. My name is Dr. Kurt Fisnick, and I'm on the call here. It's 6 o'clock in the morning in Fargo, North Dakota. Looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, and everybody is talking about the age pill. It's the talk on it is going viral. I'm starting to hear about people that are not in Sisel talking about it because they've read about it, and everywhere I go, people ask me, can you tell me a little bit more about the age pill? So I really like that. That's what we really need in Sisel to help us go out and build our business, because once people get that excitement, like what is it? What does it do? Then it's easier for us to get them using the product. And so I'm excited about that. And today we have our special guest, Andrea McKinney from over in Michigan. She started a campaign of letting people know about the age pill as soon as she found out about it, and really has done some good marketing. And last Friday, when the pill was announced in the afternoon here in the States, she was able to sign up, I think, 15 new distributors and customers. Is that correct, Andrea?
Am I muted?
No, you're there.
Oh, okay. Good. Actually, it was 7 platinum and 9 silver distributors.
So 16 new distributors.
Yes. It was pretty exciting. Crazy altogether.
Yeah, you bet. And then I know that you've actually ordered some product for customers as well. So not only did you have the 16 new distributors, but you've got some customers out there too.
Yeah, that's true.
That's way cool. So, a lot of people are sitting out in cyberspace land, and they've been reading about you on Facebook. I know Tom called me, and he said, you better get Andrea to tell everybody in the world what she's doing, because we here at Sisel, we want everybody to know what she's doing. And I said, just hold on to your horses. We've got it scheduled on Thursday, and so that's what we're going to do today. So I'm going to hand the microphone over to you, Andrea, and if you want to just tell the world what you're doing, how you're making this thing happen.
Sure. Hey, I don't mind doing that at all, because in the process of just the last few years, I've learned that, if we share this conversation and this information out there with everyone, and we get this big movement started, and everyone's got the topic on their lips, it causes us all to rise. So I don't mind sharing this at all, and I hope that it benefits everyone that hears it. The short version is share Tom's call. That's my short version, because honestly, everyone that I shared information with who took time to listen to one of Tom's recorded calls about the age pill has come back to me and said, I want this. It was the same reaction I had when I heard the information. I want this. In fact, last night I had sent a message out, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 weeks ago to someone on my friends list, and yesterday he came back and said, I'm really busy, I don't have time to, investigate any of this. And in between that time and about 2 hours later, he popped back in and said, oh, laugh out loud, can I change my mind? Because he had gone and listened to one of Tom's recorded calls, and today he's joining as a platinum. So really, the product is selling itself. Tom's message is helping to sell it. So that's one of your greatest tools that you can have. And really, let the product sell itself, because what you want to do is not sell it. You want to share information. So basically that's what I've done. I've set up a system where I'm sharing the information. If you can gather people to be exposed to that information and they listen to it to make their own decision about whether they want to participate in this grand adventure with us or not, that's good. But, you know, you don't really have to sell it. It's going to sell itself. So the easy way to initiate a conversation is always, what do you know about the age pill? I mean, if you can text that to someone or send it in a private message to them, that's the short way to do it, okay? So I'm going to share with you my longer version of how to do that. And
Can I just ask a question first, Andrea?
Sure.
Just you mentioned that, like, you had, you know, these people sign up, you give them information about the age pill, and they signed up as platinums. Did they just buy, like, the age pill product itself as a platinum order, or did they buy, like, the Triangle of Life or anything else with it?
No, I am strictly discussing the age pill with people. You know, Tom
Wow.
made it so easy that he put, you know, attached 50 points to the product. And so if, so with that information, you know, to keep it less complicated, I'm just promoting the age pill product, because if you and your wife want one, that's 100 points. Well, we had that promotion going on in July, so I used the promotion as a tool. I said, well, you know, if you want to get one for you and one for your wife, or, you know, we've been suggested to double up for 3 months, take double the dose for 3 months, and then drop back to one a month. You know, I talked to them either way. Like, if they were a husband and wife, of course, why would you want one of you to get young and the other one not, right? So I said, if you do the 2 bottles, you have 100 points. That gives you the ability to become a distributor without paying the membership fee. And Sisel's also going to send you a really nice big catalog of all their products. And then on the other hand, you know, for the platinums, I had a lot of couples that said, you know, we both want to take it. And after they were exposed to the information from Tom and from some postings I did in a page about doubling up for 3 months, they said, well, you know, I had couples come to me and say, well, we both want to double up. And I'd say, well, when you double up, that's 4 bottles. If you go 1 more bottle and, you know, talk to your neighbor, your friend, your relative, and let them use that bottle, I said, if you do the 5 bottles, you not only get a free membership, but you get a free bottle of Fucoidan, which is worth $50. So who wouldn't want that, you know? So, and mind you, these are new people, so they don't really know what Fucoidan is. So I, of course, put one of Tom's videos in the page where I'm exposing information and made a statement. This is how it works. You know, if you do 2 bottles, this happens. If you do 5 bottles, this happens. And here's a video about Fucoidan. So that's what I did.
Oh, thank you. Great.
That's fantastic. Awesome.
Okay, so, you know, I just want to mention here that it's your level of activity and engagement with people that is going to determine the response. So it's up to everyone listening here. You know, do you want to just share this with a few people who will help you cover the cost of your own product? Or do you want to actually, you know, build a second income or a retirement income with this? So it's totally up to you what you do. So I'm going to give you what works for me, and you plug it into what works for your schedule, your budget, your activity level. So that's where we're going to go with this. So do Katie, Trevor, Kurt, do you have any recommendations of how you determine what your members or the people that are joining you, is there something you ask them that would help you understand their level of activity? Because I do think it's important to engage with them about that. What do you guys do to determine that?
Yeah, thank you. That's a good question. I just sort of, after listening to a lot of the talks and listening to Tom talk and getting a bit of an understanding of the age pill, I've just made up a short little spiel. And basically I talk about the NASA research and, talk about the cosmic radiation and how they've determined how they can repair DNA. And I've really made a nice short little story about that. And I just really pique up people's interest. We really haven't got the age pill here yet. So just with having conversations with people, I'm basically priming them up so that when we have got the age pill, I can slip in that bit more information and get them to take a look or purchase product that way.
Yeah.
Okay, when you say, Katie, did you have something to contribute?
Yeah, thank you. So I just actually put together a new business card, and on that card I've put on the back, so I would have a discussion about the age pill, let them know, and then, if they said, sure, I would like to try it, I'd like to buy it, I've got a question on the back of the new cards that I'm getting printed that says, what interests you the most? So either 1, improved health, 2, products for free, 3, extra income, or 4, Wealth Builders Club. So straight away I sort of find out, are they really just interested in improving their own health, or would they like products for free, or perhaps they would like a little bit of extra income each month, or maybe they're looking for a serious business opportunity. So that would be a great way to start sorting people and finding out, what are their needs.
Okay, great. Thank you. I'm just going to kind of start my story here, and then I'll stop and ask if you guys have some questions or have any input, every once in a while. My story is that I've listened to so many of Tom's videos over the last few months. I feel like I kind of know him. I know his values. I know about his mission, and, I've come to trust that, what he does is like an art form for him. It's like his passion. And I trust that, he isn't going to do anything that would be harmful for anyone or anything like that. So when Tom first came out with a statement on Facebook about the age pill, you can take this pill and be like 20 again, it kind of, came at me out of left field, because I was like, what is he talking about? What is he? It didn't, fit into the information I knew and what I knew about Tom. I'm like, why would he say this if it isn't true? So I went on my own quest for the age pill information, and I went to YouTube and I put age pill in there, and surprisingly all of this research information came up, and I just started watching the videos, listening to the videos. Every night I would, I'd crawl in bed and turn another one on and listen for me, I personally like to acquire information so that I understand it, and I really truly believe that increases your belief level in something when you're well informed about it. And you don't necessarily to share this with people. You don't have to have that information to share it. You have to have it so that your belief level is strong enough to know that that what you're talking about is good for people, right? So I did that, and then Tom started doing, he's done a couple of calls. He did 2 here in the States, and then we had Katie record the one that he shared information with the Australian team. So Tom did the first call, and I, of course, listened to that and was even more impressed. And second call, so those become my tools, right? My belief level was extremely high based on just acquiring information. And so then what do I need to do with that information? I just need to share it. I don't have to be well-versed in it. I really don't even have to talk to people with social media. You just send people messages and then, respond, and you don't have to talk to people nowadays. But so it's a process of learning to share, and in that process of learning to share, I ended up tweaking my message. Like I at first sent out a certain message, and I figured out how much response I got from that, and I went, well, maybe I could word that differently and come up with a different message, that would be more effective or create more curiosity in the people I was sharing with. So over a course of, 2 to 3 weeks, I was tweaking my message. And when I was doing that, of course, I was acquiring people who were interested in the product. So my first night after listening to Tom's first recorded call, I got super excited. And I stayed up late, and I made a message on Facebook and sent it out to lots of people, like probably... Well, I have a friend list of around 2,000, and, Facebook only connects you to about 200 of them, but I probably sent it out to 200 or 300 people. I didn't really keep track, but I just kept sending it, and every once in a while I'd change the message up a little bit and send it again. And out of that, and really that was kind of a spam message because I didn't engage with them. I just sent this message out about the age pill. So the next day I went in and looked at my messages in Facebook, and when you do that, you can see their little highlighted picture next to a message if they listen to it. So I followed up the next day. Success is always in the follow-up, right? So I followed up and I said, oh, great, you saw my message about the age pill. What did you think about, or how do you feel about, and tried to create more engagement from them by putting a question at the end of it. Out of that initial, blasting of information, I had about 83 people who came back and engaged with me about the age pill. Well, that became a flurry of, me being tied down to a lot of activity of communicating with people, and I went, how can I do this better? So I decided to create a Facebook club, and I thought if I put all of the information I need to share with them right in there, then I can just invite them into that group and share it there. And then they can take their time and look through it. So that's what I did next is I started a group or a club, a closed club. And I do recommend doing a closed club because then you have control over the people that are being exposed to it and also the content of your information better, I think. So and the other thing I wanted to share about, over the last couple of years I've noticed in marketing that our conversations have changed and we're not using some of the same terms that we used to use, like distributor and sign up, join up, upline, downline, all of that type of information or language is kind of being replaced with a softer language that might say, hey, be a member of my club, or let me share information with you. Become a member of Sisel. Hey, we're having a huge conversation about this topic. We're creating a movement of people who want to grow young together, So it's kind of like learning a different style of language that isn't so selly. It's more sharing. So that's what I did initially. Just do any of you have any questions about like setting up a page or anything like that?
Thanks for that, Andrea. That's really great information. How you changed your the way that you conducted your questioning to people and learning from that, and I reckon that's really key. I find that I do that myself, that if I have a conversation with somebody, I tend to sort of think on it later and think, oh, perhaps I could have said it this way or that way. So thanks for the information. That's really good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you.
So it's all about making the most of your time. Most of us are doing this as a secondary income. We don't have a lot of time to devote to it. So what I'm trying to teach the training to my own club members what to do is to set up these systems that I developed. What my hope is that I am getting it organized enough for them that within minutes they can reach a lot of people with information. So that is my main goal, because the more people you expose, the higher your percentage rate, correct? So what I learned in marketing on social media over the last couple of years is that when you do send out a lot of messages, for instance, on Facebook, sometimes there's some regulations they put on people if they send the same message over and over and over again, and probably some of you have been faced with that. Maybe they don't do that in Australia, Facebook, but they do it here. But what I learned in the last couple of months is that I've discovered I have an iPhone, and some of you may have an iPhone or an Android. I've discovered the Notes app in my phone is a very effective tool for helping me communicate with people. For instance, if you're engaging in a conversation with someone about the age pill, or let's say anything, a car, if you're engaging in that conversation over and over again, typically after you've done that a few times, they're always asking the same questions. So you can develop the answer ahead of time and then just tweak it a little bit if you need to when you use it. So I set up like a folder in my iPhone Notes app, and if you have an Android, it would be the Memos app. Age pill is my folder, and then in there I have the messages that I typically are responses to people's questions. That saves me typing that all out. Every time I engage with somebody, I just go into my phone's app, I copy and paste into my message to them. If I need to tweak it a little bit, right then I can tweak it, but it saves me a whole lot of time. So the other thing that I think is happening there is that when you use a message from your phone, it uses a different format than if you, I'm going to say this really slowly so I don't confuse you, but if you're engaging with someone with a message on Facebook in a private conversation and you copy that same message and send it to someone else, Facebook itself keeps track of how many times you send that message. And I think what's going on is when you share from the phone's app, it's in a different format, and they can't track that, because I've literally sent out hundreds of messages, the same message to people, like in a short period of time, and not had any regulation from Facebook on it. So I think that's what's happening. So I would suggest utilizing your phone's app, Notes app or Memos app, or get one from the store to use on your phone, because it makes it a lot easier. And then the other thing I do in there is you have to put a little bit of text with each link so that you can go in and copy it, right? Otherwise there's nothing to grab. You touch it and it goes to the page. So I'll put Tom's first call about the age pill and then put the link there. I keep that in my phone's app so I can easily get that. Like if I'm engaging with somebody, I can go right in there and just copy, paste, oh, here, why don't you listen to this when you lay down tonight, kind of thing. And it's pretty cool that, I think it's wonderful that we have access to the biochemist and the formulator of this product so that we get all of the biology and the science behind it, right? And but in that, the age pill seems to be a really big conversation. So it's really hard to condense it down into something small. So when I share these recorded calls that Tom has done, they're about an hour long. That's a long time for somebody to stop in the middle of their day and look. So what I do is I suggest to them a time that they might want to listen to it. Like when you guys sit down tonight and relax, or when you go to bed tonight, just click on this and listen to it then. It's rather long, but it's well worth listening to. I kind of do that with them. So anyway, I'm using my phone's app to quickly respond to people. It saves me all the texting and typing and all of that, and makes it a lot quicker to reach more people. Anybody have any questions about using? Okay.
Okay, thanks, Andrea. So that's awesome in many ways. Obviously, it's very personable because receiving a recorded message from you is a much more, is a better form of contact than a text message because, people can misinterpret, meanings of text messages, but when they hear your voice, it's obviously the intent, enthusiasm, the belief can be felt through the words that you're speaking. But aside from making that comment, I did want to ask, what is the limit that you found with that? Because I tested it on my phone the other day. As you might have noticed, I sent you a message. It only lasted 2 seconds. I had a limit, and so you've got an Android phone. I've got a iPhone. So I actually ended up downloading an app called Smart Record. But I did find there is a limit to how long the recorded message can be that it'll send through Facebook. I haven't worked it out yet, but I'm going to take a guess. It's less than 30 seconds. So I was just wondering, how many seconds long were your messages, and what was the longest one that you sent via the Facebook Messenger app?
Actually, I'm not engaging verbally with them. I'm writing these messages in my phone's Notes app. And if you have an iPhone, you must have a Notes app. But maybe you haven't used it for anything other than your locker combination at the gym, right? Because that's what I was using it for before. Like, I just go in there and put some message I didn't ever want to forget. I'd go, I'll put it in my notes. But now I'm actively using my Notes app in my phone for marketing purposes, really. So, no, I wrote them out. I'm just saying that when I sent a private message to somebody. But you brought up a good point, too, and everyone doesn't tell me they have the microphone option on their Messenger. If you have downloaded Facebook Messenger, I think you do have the microphone option. And I've engaged with people, in Australia and, all around the world before, and it's easier if you're talking back and forth. Of course, when you go back and look at what you shared, which it goes up to 1 minute, but you can always start another short message. There is, when you're in private messages on Facebook, there's a little microphone icon in that bar at the bottom, like where it shows where you can share a picture, you can take a picture, you can use the microphone, you can send a GIF, you can send an emoji, that little bar down there. There's a microphone app there, or icon there. If you touch it and then hold it down, you can actually just speak and you'll have a verbal message go to those people. And I do use that a lot after I've begun my engagement because if it's taking too long to explain something, I'll use the mic and talk to them. And they typically don't always use the mic to talk back to me. They'll go ahead and type it out. But I find that a good tool also, Katie.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
So when I'm doing this, what I decided to do after that was, establish this page on Facebook where I was going to condense the information. And so after I established that, I went in and invited some friends there, and I had around 30 people in the club page. And one Saturday morning, I just got up and went, I'm going to invite a whole lot of people. So I developed this message, and I'm going to share that with you guys. But I developed this message, sent it out to, 100 people in an hour, 150 people. I don't know how many people. But in it, I'm asking them if they would like to come and learn about this age pill. So I'm not trying to sell it to them. I'm not trying to teach them about it or anything. I'm just saying, hey, I started a club about the age pill, and it got some info in there. Would you like to come and check it out? Can I add you to the club? And, I had like 65 to 70 people join the club page that morning. So now I have over 100 people exposed to the information, right? And
wow, that's incredible.
Of course, this is all a process of, engagement over a period of 3 to 4 weeks. So now I have, 40 people in there, I think. But so that was that. And then I'm going to go ahead and let me hop into my Facebook here. So I'm going to give you guys examples of the messages that I sent out to people and the follow-up. And actually, I've got to tell you, I really didn't have to tell people because Tom told them once they watched his or listened to his recorded call. They just said, hey, I want this. How can I get it? I had people coming back going, what's your link? I want to order this. How can I get it? And, of course, it wasn't out yet. So, that involved a whole other conversation of, well, it's coming out, and this is the promotion, and this is what you can do, because it was, as they're going in there, it's a process of them learning. They listen to a call, and then they see something I posted from Tom's Facebook page in there, and they read that, So it's all this engagement that's going on. Got to find my own page here just a second. Okay. And now Sisel has put out these beautiful photos with just the age pill there. And if you'll notice, they're not going, buy the age pill. They're just sharing information like the lady on the skating rink, and it said, as I'm watching these, and I'm in a bad mood, and I watch these other people, who have these health issues, I just put on my skates and skate, So I think those are pretty cool ways to market because you're not really asking them for anything. You're basically creating curiosity. Okay, I'm just about to the first message here. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just going to read this to you, and of course you have to tweak it for what works for you. And in my attempt to help my team utilize this in a more efficient manner, I put a few emojis in it, and at the beginning of each of these messages I put a different emoji. So when they scroll their messages the day after sending out a bunch of these, they can tell whether they sent them the first message or the second message by looking at the emoji. So I have a little sunflower at the beginning of this one. And I happen to have a bowl and a pile of poop in it, and the little monkeys with their hands over their eyes and their mouth, like, oh, no, I didn't see that, and oh, I didn't say that. Just to kind of put a little humor in there. But I just put sunflower, good afternoon, sunflower, happy face. Okay, can I add you to a new club started for people who want to learn about growing young again? There's a video or two there that explains how the AGE pill can make you feel and look closer to what you did in your 20s. When you hear what it will do for your body, like me, you will want it. I know it seems unbelievable, but it's not. And then I have the picture of the bowl and the pile of poop. The research proves it. I thought you would want to know about this like I do. Can I add you so you can see the info? And then I tell them what the page is called. So that's all I did, and that's like my first message out to people. So I send it out, and then they just go, yeah, sure, add me, And then to follow up with that, and, the rules of engagement in marketing are that typically people won't sometimes take in the information unless you've at least contacted them 2 or 3 times, right? So I always explain to my friends and members who are working with me that, just because you sent one message out and you didn't get a response doesn't mean a thing, because you don't know when they saw that message. They're actively living their life. They could be going to a child's ball game. They could be at a dentist's office. They could be at a stoplight, and they just happen to see your message, and they're like, oh, I can't deal with that now. I'll come back later, and then they forget to come back. So engaging with them at least 3 times is a necessity, and they typically say people won't even bother to take the time to look at something until you've engaged with them about that many times. So don't be discouraged if you send a message out and you don't get anything back. So once I send that message out, number 2 has a little smiley sun with sunglasses on, so I know that this is my second message. And I put, great. I knew you would want to know about this. Here's the link to the page. Explore. Listen to the micro call with Tom Maurer. Micro call is the message that Katie made up for us. It's only 20 minutes long versus the hour long. So Tom condensed the information a little bit more there, but it still has really relevant information to create the start of a knowledge base for people when they listen to it. So that's my second message. And then, again, I follow up, and I have a little red telephone as the emoji here, and it says, "Hi, did you get a chance to listen to the micro call about the age pill yet? Do you have any questions?" So this is like my second or third engagement with them. And then I just have a couple of little training things here, like if they listen to the call, ask if they have questions. And then once they, get their questions answered, the good thing to always ask them is, do you see how this could benefit you? And if they answer yes, that means they want it, right? I mean, that is the assumption that they see how it can benefit them, they want it. So after that, then you just ask, and I really didn't have to do this part, but I'm sharing how you would close. Because they basically, once they listened to the call, they all came back to me and they wanted some. Then you would say, well, do you want to get one bottle to start, or do you want to double up for 3 months like I'm doing and get 2? So that's basically it. And then previously, before it came out, I was telling them, that I'd add them to a list of people who want to order, and I would let them know when it's available. And then I reminded them, that if you get 2 bottles, you get 100 points, and you actually become a member, and you can get all kinds of other non-toxic products in the future anytime you want them. So, that's basically what I did. So for my team, once I got a few people who wanted to actually promote this, we're all still waiting to sign up, and they're all still waiting for the age pill. But I developed a training page where I shared these tools with them. And so then in there, Katie, I did short videos and explained what I was doing, explaining pretty much what I'm explaining to you guys right now through a call. But I used videos. I did like 5 short videos and said, hey, welcome here, and this is how you would get started, and it's you determine the level of engagement and activity you want to do, and I'm going to just share like you really want to build a secondary income with this, and if that's not what you want to do, then just tweak it and use it how you want to use it. And so I just went in and did these short 5 videos to explain to them pretty much the information I just explained to you, and I posted my little messages in there for them to utilize and taught them to go put them in their phone app so that they could quickly share them with people. And that's what I did.
That's awesome, Andrea. Thank you for that. I've picked up a few good points there. I'm going to re-listen to this recorded version and make sure I got a notepad and pen the next time I listen.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. You've created a whole system. And I guess one question I want to finish off with asking Andrea is, it seems evidence that, you didn't have these skills overnight. You've perhaps thought about it for some time or developed it or tested it elsewhere, or is this the first time that you just started racking your brain and going, how can I make this work?
No, it's more of like acquired skills over the last few years of marketing using Facebook, and but to me, I think the biggest thing is exposure, and how quickly can you expose a lot of people to information. We can sit there and engage in conversation with a lot of people, and it will take you a long time to get through a lot of people to expose them to what you want to expose them to. And honestly, you have to have a passion for it, and I've tried to do other types of marketing businesses that didn't involve health. I'm really passionate about health and things that can help people, and so, the age pill and Sisel is, right down my line of interest. So And obviously everyone on this call has that same interest too, because you're involved with Sisel or you're thinking about becoming involved with Sisel. And you probably all have a great passion for helping people. So in saying that, I almost feel like it's a sin not to share this with everyone, right? I mean, now that I've acquired the information, it's like, oh man, they need this. I can walk through a store and see somebody and, oh, I would love to just share with them what I know, kind of thing. And sometimes you do, but you can't go up to everybody and start, talking to them about what you know about. But so that was my thing, was how it becomes very hard for you as somebody who's trying to share to continue in these, these kind of drawn out conversations of exposing them to information. So the easiest way to do that is to put it all in one place, kind of like a little store, right? And you invite them in. Only in this case, I used the term club, which seemed to work pretty well with, hey, I started a club. That's not threatening at all. It's not, I started a store, So I started a club. I want to invite you in so you can see this information. And can I add you there so you can check it out? So basically that's what you're doing. And then that takes a whole lot of pressure off from you of doing follow-up. I mean, they're in there, and you can, of course, go back as you see them engage, because when you see that like you do a post in there or you do a video in there, you'll see how many people engaged, and you can click on that, and Facebook will tell you who looked at this post. So then you can go back and you know who to follow up with. You know who's being actively following your post in there. And out of 140 some people that I have invited to that page, I have around 40 people who are actively following what I put in there. So it's not a lot of people. So that tells you the high percentage of people that really are interested in using the age pill. Because if I have 140 people in the club and I have 40 people who are actively following what I'm posting in there, and I had 16, now 17 people decide they want to order the age pill, that's a pretty good percentage, I think.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, that's great. When they start getting results, it's just going to really snowball from there, I could imagine.
Oh, yeah, and I love that it's aging, and aging is not a disease, and we can shout from the mountaintops all day long, hey, I'm getting younger. It'll be great.
That's awesome.
I like it.
And
Andrea. Go ahead, Katie.
Sorry. I just wanted to ask one last question. It was really interesting that you chose the word club. Do you feel that club is a more effective word than, say, group?
I think it's less threatening to people. I talked about that whole change in language. I am so excited to see what's going to happen, because actually I was engaged with a different company right in the beginning, and I still use their product and stuff, but Sisel has become my top company, right? And the thing is, when it started, nobody was talking about this particular topic. And now, in 2 years' time, I mean, this movement has become so huge that it's in everybody's mouth. My daughter holds art classes, and we hadn't seen one friend for some time, and she came back and we were eating together, and she said, oh, I'm doing this thing now, so I can't eat this and this, and we're like, oh, we're doing that too, And like the other night at my daughter's art class, this lady had lost like 70 pounds or something, and somebody asked her, well, how'd you do that? And she said, oh, I'm doing this. So it's like this topic and movement have in 2 years become huge. The conversation about it is huge. And I think that's going to happen with the age pill. And guess what? You guys are all in at the beginning of this. And I think in 2 years, everybody will know about the age pill. And everybody will be trying the age pill. I think that's what's going to happen. So it's a movement. We're creating a movement, and people are going to engage in that. So yeah, I think the term club is more of that like soft kind of language that I was talking about, where we're a club, we're members, we're creating a movement of people that want to grow young together, that type of thing.
Awesome. Thank you.
I love it. Andrea, the way you share everything, what I really like about it, and I hope everybody else has picked up on this too, is that you're not a marketing expert. You're not saying that, hey, look, this is what you have to do. You've gone out and you've tested different things, and you simply found what worked, right?
Yeah, basically, and I tweak it as I go. If I'm doing something and I'm like, oh, that's not as effective as I want it to be, I go back and how many times I've redesigned that first message, and I may redesign it again. I don't know, but it's being pretty effective right now. When it's no longer effective, I'll probably go, well, how could I word that better? What could I put in there to create more curiosity or engagement with who I'm trying to reach? So that's all it is. And, we all have heard, don't try to explain anything. Use your tools. And we have some great tools in this. We really do. We have you, Dr. Fizz. We have you as a tool. We have Tom as a tool, his recorded messages, his Facebook page. Like, I'll go in and snag all his messages he puts about the age pill in there, and I take them over and put them in my club page so that I have another thing that pops up in their news feed or in their notifications for them to read about the age pill. And I might go in and clean that out to keep it less cluttered. At times like this morning I was doing that. I went in and said, well, what messages can I get out of here now to get it back to the core messages of let's listen to these recorded calls about the age pill, So keep it simple. Don't just keep piling information in there. Always take it back to the main thing. But at the same time, when you're posting new stuff in there, it's sending them a notification in Facebook that, oh, she put something new in the club. Let's go look at it. And I might leave it in there for a while and then take it back out just to keep the core information at the top, so people can see what I really want them to see.
I love it. Yeah, you've kept it simple, and I think the big thing is that people that are listening to the recording, people that are listening to the call, is that you want to pick up on that. Just keep trying new things till you find what works, and then use it until it doesn't work, and then change it, and really never give up. That's probably the top message, right, Andrea?
Yeah, that's true. Never give up.
Yeah, because most people, they'll try it once and they go, oh, I did what Andrea did. It didn't work for me.
Yeah, well, I would say come back to me and tell me you sent that first message out to 100 people and you didn't get a response. Because actually I had someone who wants to promote this come back to me and say, well, I sent a message to all my friends. And they said, well, here's my message. Send this message to your friends again. Because the first engagement, of course, is not always the one that's going to, like I said, you have to do it more than once. And I explained to that person, you have to do it more than once. And so she had sent a few. I could tell it was while I was sending out my messages that I was encouraging her to do the same thing. And then she came back and said, well, maybe it just isn't going to work for me, because she wasn't getting quick responses. And, I mean, literally I wasn't working for more than an hour that morning. So I'm like, well, she doesn't understand. You have to wait for them to engage, And so I'd encourage her again. And then she came back with, well, maybe I should just wait and use the product and get my results and then try to share it with people. And I encouraged her again. I said, just send it out. And pretty soon I started getting different messages from her. She was going, oh, I have a couple people to add to the club. And I said, great, go in and add them, And then pretty soon it was, hey, I found another one. I said, good, go in and add them. And I want to share this message too. I often have heard in marketing that, well, I'm going to get the product. If it works for me, I'll share it. And I'm sure most of you have heard that too. And here's the deal. If I had waited until I used the product for 30 days to share it, none of these people would have been exposed to it to learn about it and get excited about it. I would have said, oh, I'm just going to get the product and wait 30 days, see if it does anything for me, and then maybe I'll tell people about it. That doesn't make sense to me. It's like, this is such a awesome, why wouldn't you want to share it? And if it didn't work for you exactly, and I can't imagine that, but if it didn't work for you, let's say it was a different product, because I think this product's going to work for everyone. But if you had a product and it didn't work for you to get rid of your specific issue, would you prevent from sharing that information to your friends, family, and, you know, other people you know, and they have a specific thing that they're dealing with, and it would help them? Why would you deprive them of that information or deprive them of that ability just because maybe it didn't work for you? You know, and so that has never made sense to me. And if you're going to engage with people and share it, do it from the beginning. Have it be fun. Do it together.
Well, there you go. Well, everybody, it's getting that time where we got to cut the recording off. Otherwise, it gets too long to send out. Andrea, what a great message. Is there any, just one final thing, one final key point that you want to tell people?
I think just expose one of Tom's calls or one of your calls about the H pill to as many people as you can to start this movement and get the word out to the world.
There you go. Well, I appreciate that. And thanks for taking the time today to share with everybody, because there's a lot of people out there who are just desperately looking for a way to make this work for them. And I know what you just said will help a lot of people. Katie, Trevor, everyone else that's on the call listening, thank you. For those of you listening to the recording, thanks for taking the time, and I hope this message helps you. And Andrea, keep up the great work. I mean, it's just amazing. I watch what you're doing, and I take notes every time I see what you're doing.
Thank you. And thank you for inviting me to share.
Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, Andrea.
Yeah, I hope it helps a lot of people.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Kurt.
Bye. Bye.